great news from the United States this morning, but you heard it here first. 2 weeks ago, as predicted by James Morrow on Outsiders, Amy Coney Barrett has been nominated by Donald Trump for the US Supreme Court. So let's go straight to James and Rita for this exciting Outsiders news. James, you picked it. Give us your tip for the Melbourne Cup while you're at it, mate.
Well, look, it was not a surprise. Amy Coney Barrett was in the front running, and we've been talking about that ever since Brett Kavanaugh was nominated, that she was a likely next cab off the rank. The amazing thing here, though, guys, is how the left is looking to absolutely destroy this woman in the same way that they destroyed Brett Kavanaugh. Now, they're going to have a hard time getting up, I think, crazy sex assault allegations against her like they tried with Brett Kavanaugh. But this is a really fascinating thing, and I think we may have some tweets here which show some of the madness that's going on the left. Because she has 7 children, 2 of them adopted from Haiti, people like Ibram Kendi, who is one of the biggest critical race theory guys, saying that this is an act of colonization and oppression. And so now, look, guys, if you had on your 2020 bingo card the left being against interracial families, well, congratulations, come up to the front and collect your winnings, because that's where we are now.
I'm not surprised, because as we keep saying, this extreme identity politics, critical race theory that the left has embraced shares a lot with white supremacy, this obsession with race, where race trumps all other characteristics and determines what sort of human being you are. And the attacks against her and her family from the feminist movement as well. I think we've got a tweet here that shows the sort of example we're talking about, where they're saying, how could possibly a mother of 7 also be a Supreme Court justice? How can she be a good mum and do her job? Excuse me, are we back in the 1950s now? This is the feminist movement?
Wasn't that the whole dream? Wasn't that the whole point of feminism?
And I mean, it's hilarious too. They're all trying to say that she's part of some, Handmaid's Tale Catholic cult, which is another myth that got blown up this week. They said that she belonged to a prayer group that inspired the Handmaid's Tale. That's not true. This woman is apparently so under the thumb of, the Catholic Church and her husband, that she's found time to be a law professor, a judge on the 7th Circuit Court of the United States, and now a Supreme Court nominee. I mean, really, guys,
now the main question, of course, James, is what does this do to Trump's election chances? Where does it go from here?
I think it's a big win, especially because the Democrats will not be able to resist overplaying their hand. We've got, look at the pictures of this beautiful family. This should be the absolute American dream. It is everything that they hate. This lovely, happy, successful, interracial family, and this is everything that the left hates. They are going to try and destroy this woman, and middle America is going to look at it and say, guys, what is your problem?
Rita.
I tell you, nothing energized the Trump base more than what they did to Kavanaugh, what the media and the Democrats did to a family, where they accused this man of gang rape, based on 0 evidence. And you wonder, what are they going to do to this family now? And already the attacks against her children, there's been attacks also questioning the circumstances under which she adopted those 2 children. I mean, really low gutter tactics that the average person will look at and go, no, thank you, I don't want to be associated with that.
And that's the key point, Rita. The average person in America, this is why I keep saying it's going to be a Trump landslide, because the average person in America looks at all this stuff and thinks it's terrific. Just this week, for example, Donald Trump has named both the Ku Klux Klan and, more importantly, or as importantly, Antifa as terrorists. Why I say this is important is because, yes, we've always known that the KKK are repulsive, but here we finally have Trump coming forward and saying Antifa are terrorists. This is the organisation that on Outsiders, ahead of anybody else, we've been talking about this with Andy No, with others, with Army Horowitz. For 4 years now we've been on to Antifa, and Trump has come out and said they are terrorists, Rita.
He has, and we've seen the sort of destruction that they've caused in a number of American cities, along with BLM. It has been just appalling, the amount of violence, destruction of property. So I think this is overdue. And you might be wondering, what's Joe Biden been doing all this time? Because he's really been missing from action. The media saying, oh, well, he's prepping for the debates. He's prepping for the debates. That's why he's not out there. But let's just see how he's going. This is him on MSNBC, struggling to remember policies.
Paycheck Protection Act. 1% of the money's gone out. 1%. 1% of the that's not the paycheck. The bill for small businesses.
It's too good.
Thank God the host jumped in to help him. The host jumped in. Do you think they'd jump in to help Trump if he was floundering like that?
Exactly.
Can we also make just one more point on that? Not only has Joe Biden been doing these completely scripted interviews, we've all seen the teleprompters, but Kamala Harris, who is his vice presidential nominee, the running mate, and somebody who is very likely in line for the White House if Joe Biden gets in, because we all know he won't serve a 4-year term, she hasn't done one interview with the press yet. She has been entirely in hiding, so they are keeping both candidates completely sequestered here. It's pretty weird stuff, and if we had a media in the United States that actually was doing their job, they'd be screaming the house down about it.
Well, the media who will be doing their job are you two when you'll be over in the States very soon, keeping all outsiders and, more importantly, all Sky viewers in Australia informed on what is happening in America, and that is going to be just fantastic.
Rowan,
yep.
We can't not play the next little bit
Please
of
do,
Joe
please
Biden
do.
because James mentioned the auto cue, and let's just have a look at this. Is this an auto cue mistake, or is Joe trying to be funny?
From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago,
So he was talking there about
Maybe he's
being
telling the
elected
truth.
to the Senate 180 years ago. Who knows?